If you were to tell me, 10 years ago, I was going to be having like a pizza spot and a burger spot, I would have been like, there's no way. You have the wrong guy. Hi, I'm Chef MacDonald. I have two restaurants here in Santa Monica, Burgette and Salmon, and we're gonna talk smash burgers. Salmon is kind of an Italian Spanish tapas restaurant that serves Neapolitan style pizza, and the Burgette is a Parisian-inspired burger spot that we highlight kind of smash burgers and small plates that are inspired by France. Today I'll be demonstrating our salmon belly smash burger that we serve at Burgette, and it's a staple at the restaurant and a unique twist on the classic. Every good burger starts with obviously the meat, but the bun is very crucial and very important. So with our testing and our development for the burger recipes at the restaurant, I narrowed it down to kind of three main burger buns that you'd want to use for your burger. What we use at the restaurant is we use a classic brioche, buttery, soft. Sears nice when you crisp up the bottom on the bun. The moisture content can be a little bit not as moist, so you kind of got to work through that. It's got a nice sweet touch to it. Then we have a Hawaiian bun here that's mainly sweet. It's kind of like a classic dinner roll that you'd have at home for dinner or whatnot. And then the classic with all smash burgers, the Martin potato roll. I do love potato rolls because the potato content helps trap in that moisture and makes for a nice fluffy bite. It also has a good ratio of bun to meat. At the restaurant, we just wanted to kind of go a little bit classic. Since we are a Parisian-inspired restaurant, we wanted to do the classic brioche bun style. But today, demonstrating, you can find these at a lot of grocery stores and all over Los Angeles. We're gonna do a little smash burger with this, just the classic style way. I looked around and I didn't see anybody do a salmon belly smash burger or anything like that. We use the salmon belly just for that fat content and for the flavor. So usually burgers, you wanna go from like 20 to 30% fat content in the patty. So a lot of the times, salmon belly can be a little bit difficult to find. So what I'll do is I'll go either to the markets or I'll go to the farmer's market as well. And they sell some amazing Icelandic salmon. But if not, you can just go to your local market. You can just look for pieces that do have really nice white marbling on the belly and then kind of pick that fillet. Whenever we touch fish, we always like to use gloves just so the natural oils in our skin doesn't wreck the fish. So we're gonna chop it and we're gonna do a good ratio of kind of like the belly and the flesh as well. And since it's going to be a smash burger, we want to get it up into nice little small chunks. We don't want any big clumps in there. Here's the mix. And what we're going to do is we're not going to season it at this point. We are just going to put a little bit of cornstarch on it. And then this is just so you don't get clumps. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of mix it and press it together so the cornstarch starts mixing with the fat, and press it into the sides of the bowl. And just so it cools down as quickly as possible, we're just gonna keep it like that before we form it into the balls. We're just gonna throw this in the fridge and let it cool down. So I think burgers for me has been one of my favorite comfort foods. I always said that burgers were gonna be like my last meal kind of thing. I was always in fine dining. I always thought I'd just do tasting menu restaurants forever. And then COVID happened, and then I started teaching myself pizza over COVID, and then I really developed this like cool Neapolitan style recipe. So then when I came to LA and there was the opportunity to open up a restaurant, I just thought maybe like go with pizza. And then started making pizza, and then the opportunity came to take over the space next door. And then I walked the space and I saw what was available to be done in the space, because there was just like a flat top, 2-burner stove and like some fryers. I just like kind of dove into burgers, and I've always loved burgers. I love smash burgers. I love like grilled burgers, like, dad's backyard kind of patty with like tomato, lettuce, that kind of thing. LA smash burgers are a huge thing right now too, and there's so many amazing smash burger restaurants. So I just wanted to kind of do my take on that, but like in a kind of a sexier level. And I thought the best way to kind of, make burgers sexy is by having like a Parisian influence, like a French influence. So have like natural wines, burgers, and then kind of do some like cool little cheeky small plates to go with it. So that's how it evolved into like this like burger spot. And like if you were to tell me, 10 years ago I was going to be having like a pizza spot and a burger spot, I would have been like, there's no way. You have the wrong guy. But it's evolved in the way that I think about food. It's like I just want really, really tasty food in a cool environment and be able to have fun with it too, and have like everybody who works there have a good time, and then also guests come in and have a really cool time and be able to eat something that they're used to, but maybe a little bit of a twist. So that's kind of how the two restaurant concepts came about, and then how I got into burgers. Sauce, It's kind of funny, all my friends bug me. All my chef friends and stuff, we make fun of each other for like the ingredients that we always use all the time. It's like one of my buddies, he puts like fish sauce and everything, so we just make fun of him for always putting fish sauce and everything, which is delicious. Fish sauce is amazing, but my thing is pickled shallots. So you take a shallot, which is already delicious on its own, and all you have to do is mince it or brunoise it and mix it with lemon juice and let it sit, and then that's a good base for a lot of flavor. So you get like the sweetness drawn out from the shallot, and then the pickly liquid that's made after from the lemon juice and the sweetness of the shallots, a really good balance and a really good base for sauces. Take out the center. The harshness of the shallot flavor gets kind of reduced when it does pickle with the lemon juice. And then once they go translucent, you know that they're kind of slightly pickled. And then we're gonna kind of smack it around a bit now. And because it's fish and it's a little bit more oily, you won't get that whip that you get as you would for beef fat. So we still do this, but it's not gonna form into like a perfect ball. And that's why we add the cornstarch too, to kind of work as a binder. A lot of the sauces at the restaurant too, because it's Parisian inspired, we take essentially like a classic Big Mac sauce for our smash burger and we implement French ingredients instead. So instead of like ballpark mustard, we do grainy Dijon, we do a little Worcestershire sauce, we do gherkins instead of classic pickles in the relish. You can do whatever, you know, at home if you're making stuff, you can do whatever take you want, whatever pickles you guys kind of have in the fridge. So a brunoise is essentially the smallest little perfect cube that you can cut with, you know, a product or an ingredient. So what we do here is we start by cutting them into little kind of strips, and then we're gonna julienne them, which is like thin matchsticks. You can cut these as fine as you want or as thick as you want, depending if you like little bites. And we're just gonna rough chop the caper, because I do like little pops of flavor with the caper. You can just use store-bought. One of my favorite aiolis is QP. You can find it at a lot of grocery stores these days, like Whole Foods. Pickle selection, you can get any type of pickle that you'd want. A nice little asparagus pickle would go well with this too. Classic pickle would work well too. At the restaurant we make turnip pickles, so they're like very dilly pickled turnips. We get them from the San Marcos Farmers Market. Very fresh and nice, but it's I like turnip because once you pickle it, it's a very neutral tasting pickle, so you get like that sharp acidity with it too. And it's kind of like a cucumber where it's not like an invasive flavor. We just want the, you know, the sauce, and we want the meat to be able to really shine in this. So this is like very obnoxious and large. If you have a flat top on your stove, that's perfect, that's amazing. What you can also use is a cast iron pan. These are great. You can get a nice crispy sear on the fish too. But the reason why I'm using this, and the reason I started using this, was because when the restaurant was in construction and I couldn't get in, I needed like a nice large surface to be able to practice the smash burgers. And a lot of the times you'll use something like this to scrape up the patty, so it's essentially pressed down like a pancake and the crispiness stays. And if you have like just a normal kind of metal spatula, sometimes you won't be able to get the full patty. So you want the full size of the patty to be able to fit. That's why we have this, and really scrape and get into it. You have your patty paper that you're gonna use to smash the patties down as well. This is great because it doesn't stick to the meat. It doesn't have this, this smasher stick to the meat as well. And then you can just pull it up, and it actually kind of steams the center too. So if you do like, you know, an Oklahoma style smash burger and you smash it, the onions will kind of steam underneath the parchment for the first little bit before you pull the parchment paper off. You want like a higher smoke point oil. You don't want to use anything kind of like olive oil. I know we talk about a lot these days about seed oils and how, you know, they're not the best for you and stuff like that. So you can use like an avocado oil in there too. You can use grapeseed oil, which is a high smoke point. But a lot of the times we'll just use a beef towel. And we don't want too much oil on it. We're not like sauteing, we're not like, you know, shallow frying. So a lot of the times I'll put the oil down and then kind of wipe it off. And some people will steam these on the patties, some people will sear the bottoms. I like to sear the bottom just to have that nice little platform for the sauces to stick, to not seep too much into the bun. And what we can do also is we can just test the temperature of the flat top by searing our bun a little bit. And for the searing, so you get that crispy and enzymatic brown flavor. And you do put a nice little press on it, good amount of body weight. Then you have your two patties right there. And I think a lot of the times it's always figuring out that perfect ratio of how much sauce to put on your meat, on your bun. We don't want to go too much because then also all of the times the meat and stuff, the contents inside will slip out if you have too much pickle or too much sauce.